Welcome to the Sportsman's Voice Roundup, your weekly look at conservation and sporting community news happening across the nation and on the Hill. Thanks for tuning in. This is the TSV Roundup. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this week's edition of the Sportsman's Voice Roundup for the week of May 18th, 2026. Our lead story this week, Governor Kemp signed CSF's hunter education in the schools bill. We wrap that story up with Connor Barker here in a moment. Other lead stories, CSF supported prescribed fire legislation signed into law in Georgia as well, and West Virginia. CSF is thankful for the leadership of the Georgia and West Virginia Legislative Sportsmen's Caucuses and appreciates their dedication to improving policies that facilitate prescribed burning to improve wildlife habitat. Pennsylvania introduces legislation for hunter and trapper ed in the schools. CSF applauds Representative Kulik for introducing this vital piece of legislation that would help protect the deep-rooted outdoor heritage in Pennsylvania. Students will get an understanding of the history and importance of hunting and trapping and the role they play in conservation and wildlife management, as well as how to safely handle firearms. You'll remember back to our NASC sessions for 2025. Representative Kulik was on the program there as we celebrated Sunday hunting, a real champion. She is in her final session as a representative. As I understand it, she's retiring, so doing some real good stuff on her way to civilian life. Final legislative sessions adjourned in the Great Plains. Get a breakdown of all the happenings there. Colorado conservation funding legislation sees mixed results in 2026. Sports folks have always been conservation's dedicated advocates and its primary source of funding. Colorado is no exception. This session, Colorado's sportsmen and women continue to lead the charge on conservation funding, pushing for dedicated conservation funding from the legislature across several significant bills with mixed results. Finally, here, before we get to Connor, big announcement here and an exciting one as we celebrate the nation's 250th birthday. Happy birthday, America. Here at CSF, we are launching off the Hunt Fish 250 campaign. You guys can check everything out there, Hunt Fish 250 at huntfish250.org. In 2026, as I stated, America celebrates 250 years of independence. For just as long, freedom to hunt, fish, and access our public lands and waters has helped define the nation, but these freedoms were not always guaranteed and are not. They are protected through policy, conservation, and the work being done every day to ensure the next generation has the same opportunity we do today. Head to huntfish250.org, huntfish250.org. There you can go explore. Check out some of the limited edition swag that's available for special commemorative memberships. You can go check that all out and learn for yourself. And with this, we're launching a Sportsman's Voice Sportsman's Voice podcast series for the Hunt Fish 250 campaign. Lots of great guests coming up. We're going to take you right from the beginning of the nation's founding, maybe a little bit before then, and bring it current date and look into the future. But some exciting sets of conversations to be had, and I hope you'll join us for those as we drop those standard every other Thursday. So huntfish250.org. Go there now. Check it out. All right, let's turn to Connor Barker now for an update on our lead story. We've reported on this in the past, and Connor is going to close a chapter in Georgia on hunter ed in the school, and at least as far as the legislative process goes. Connor, welcome back. Bring us up to speed on all the things hunter ed in the schools in Georgia.
Yeah, Fred, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Like you mentioned, it's been a long effort. It's been something we've working on for 2 years. You've heard me talk about it on the podcast, seen it on CSF socials, in the TSV articles, pretty much every step of the way. But long story short, after a 2-year effort that began really in late 2024, probably, got introduced in 25, made it almost through the legislative session in 25. Due to no fault of its own, it slipped up on sine die the last day of session then. Fast forward to 2026, bills can carry over as part of the 2-year biennium there, the 2-year session in Georgia. That bill carried over in just the first couple weeks of session this year in 26. Received a unanimous vote, the very last vote that it needed to be sent to the governor. Governor Brian Kemp, member of our Governor's Sportsmen's Caucus and avid sportsman himself and supporter of the cause, signed that bill after session ended. I believe that's on May 5th, earlier this month. And that bill, I believe, takes effect into July. But yeah, long and short of it, students in grades 6 through 12 in Georgia will have the opportunity to take an optional hunter education course as part of their school curriculum starting next year. And that's a course that's taught in coordination with the DNR as a DNR certified instructor, and students can earn credit for that. So yeah, great stuff there in Georgia.
When you guys are going through this, did people come up with a concern of how this stuff would be implemented as far as agency staff, as far as cost and concern, and how were those issues addressed?
No, none. I mean, this was a pretty seamless process. We worked with our Legislative Sportsmen's Caucus co-chair and NASC Executive Council member, Representative Chaz Cannon. A huge ton of credit to him for the work that he did, really spearheading that over the last 2 years. But no, we coordinated with him directly on the front end. We also coordinated with the Department of Education, which I think was important in this case, before the bill was even dropped, to make sure that we all had, we were all on the same page here. Again, the language is not mandatory, so that's something that is very helpful when you try to mandate things when it comes to school curriculum. There's obviously probably going to be some pushback no matter what it is, so we didn't have to deal with that. Funding concerns, no, nothing like that, Fred. It's pretty seamless, and again, ton of credit to the DNR too for being with us every step of the way on that.
That's great. Now it looks like Georgia's going to be the next good model for this. And I ask because I know some states have expressed those kind of concerns. So um, if you guys are getting this done in Georgia, maybe there's conversations to be had, and that's what's great about the NASC network, as we talk about all the time. Legislators being able to reach out to other states, other state caucuses, and say, "Hey, how did you do this? We're trying to do this in our state. We're getting these questions, these concerns, and how did you get over on it?" So, um, yeah, rinse and repeat, man. Let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's see if we can get what you guys did in Georgia done in some other states, because it's certainly a great opportunity and an investment in the future of uh, conservation, truly, and how this whole system works without people buying those licenses. As you well know, Connor, it makes it real hard to give mission delivery on the ground and fund all of that.
Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right, Fred. This will be lockstep in that and keeping the trends going for years to come.
Very good. Well, congratulations. That's a good bookend to your storytelling on that. We've appreciated your reporting and glad to bring home a victory. And good luck to the kids in Georgia. Hope they take up the opportunity, get those extra credits, and hopefully we'll get a testimonial or two to report back and see how that goes once it's implemented.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Fred.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yep, thanks.
Thanks for joining us on this edition of the Sportsman's Voice podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, your support is crucial, and you can help us out right now by leaving a review, filling in those 5 stars where available, sharing this episode with friends and family, and engaging with us socially. CSF can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Together, we can protect the outdoor sports we love and continue to keep you informed wherever you are. That's it for this week. Until next time, we'll see you later.